HOA Karen vandalized the center sign, got arrested, fined $120,000, and voted out. The sun hung high over Willow Creek, a sleepy town where every neighbor knew your name and your business. Karen Whitaker, the HOA president, was a fixture. Her sharp voice commanded board meetings. Her manicured lawn set the standard, and her word was law. But beneath her polished exterior simmered a resentment that would unravel everything. The community center's new sign, a proud symbol of unity funded by years of bake sales and raffles, was her latest obsession. Karen despised it not for its design, but for what it represented. Change she couldn't control. It started with whispers. The sign, engraved with Willow Creek, "Together We Thrive," was unveiled to celebrate the town's diversity initiative, spearheaded by Sarah Nguyen, a 25-year-old activist who'd moved back after college. Sarah's vision multicultural festivals, inclusive programs clashed with Karen's rigid rules. "This town's fine as it is," Karen snapped at a meeting, her eyes narrowing at Sarah. "We don't need outsiders stirring things up." The crowd murmured, divided. Tom Bradley, the no-nonsense treasurer, tried to mediate, but Karen's influence loomed large. She'd been president for a decade, her iron grip unchallenged until now. Tensions brewed for weeks. Karen's complaints escalated. The sign's font was tacky, its message divisive. She rallied her loyalists, older residents who feared change, while Sarah's supporters, young families, new immigrants, pushed a Bratna. At a heated town hall, Karen's proposal to replace the sign with a generic welcome was shouted down. Humiliated, she stormed out, her face redder than the roses she pruned religiously. That night, under a moonless sky, Karen acted. Armed with a can of red spray paint, she defaced the sign, scrawling "liar" across its surface. She didn't know a security camera caught every move. The next morning, Willow Creek woke to chaos. The vandalized sign stood like a wound, red paint dripping like blood. Sarah, devastated, organized a cleanup, but the damage was done. Social media exploded. Posts on X called it a hate crime, with hashtags like "Justice for Willow Creek" trending locally. Tom, reviewing the footage, felt his stomach drop. "Karen," he muttered, recognizing her silhouette. He called the police, torn between duty and disbelief. Karen's arrest was swift, her handcuffed walk through town a spectacle. The crowd was merciless. Some jeered, others wept. Sarah stood silent, clutching a wilting daisy, her dream tarnished. The trial was a circus. Karen, defiant, claimed she was protecting tradition. Her lawyer argued the signs cost $120,000, funded by community donations, justified her outrage. The judge wasn't swayed. Vandalism, property damage, and a hate crime enhancement led to a $120,000 fine and 200 hours of community service. Karen's HOA presidency was stripped in a landslide vote, her allies abandoning her. But the real twist came from an unexpected voice. Mrs. Delaney, a quiet 80-year-old widow who'd lived in Willow Creek her whole life. At the sentencing, Mrs. Delaney stood, trembling but resolute. "I knew Karen's mother," she said, her voice cutting through the courtroom. "She was kind, taught me to plant tulips. Karen's not evilsh scared of losing what she knows." The room froze. Mrs. Delaney's words weren't a defense but a revelation. Karen's rage stemmed from her mother's death years ago, when the town failed to rally around her grief. She'd clung to control ever since, terrified of change. Sarah, hearing this, felt a pang of empathy, but it didn't erase the betrayal. The town was fractured, and no one knew how to heal it. Karen's fall was brutal. Her house, once the envy of Willow Creek, went up for sale. Neighbors shunned her, and her garden withered. Sarah tried to rebuild, organizing a festival to restore the sign, but attendance was sparse. Tom, guilt-ridden for turning Karen in, resigned from the HOA. The sign was repainted, but its message felt hollow. Willow Creek wasn't thriving, it was limping. On X, debates raged. Was Karen a villain or a product of a town that failed her? Some saw her as a tyrant, others a broken soul lashing out. In the end, Karen left town quietly, her car packed with boxes and faded dreams. Sarah found a note slipped under her door. "I'm sorry, I didn't know how to stop." It was unsigned, but the handwriting was Karen's. Sarah kept it, unsure whether to forgive or forget. The community center stood, its sign gleaming but scarred beneath the paint. Mrs. Delaney planted tulips nearby, a silent tribute to a town that could still grow if it chose to. The story of Willow Creek isn't over. It's a mirror of countless communities torn by change, fear, and the weight of unspoken pain. Karen's actions were wrong, but her story begs the question. Where does justice end and understanding begin? Share your thoughts. When does a community's heart break? And how do we mend it?